Yeah, blessings. Another day again in the earth, give thanks. Just a thought that came across my mind a while ago. I just want to share um, as I drive up to work. The thought is this, does the truth matter? And if it does matter, when does it matter? Oftentimes we hold certain ideas as truths, but there are other truths that exist that we are either unaware of or that we don't see ourselves aligned to. And so in our minds, we become abrasive to that truth. So I'm asking the question, does the truth matter? And when it matters? Because I'm realizing that for some of us, the only time we consider something the truth is if it is already in line with what we already know to be true or believe. But the moment that there is a perspective or an idea that differs or challenges what we already know to be true, some of us disregard it. And of course, I'm aligning this especially to the concept of the God of the Bible or any religious teaching. For each religious group that exists on the earth, they hold as true their own set of doctrines. They hold as true their own set of beliefs and practices and rituals. And if I say, for example, that there is no true religion, the person I'm saying it to might say, what the hell is wrong with this guy? What am I talking about? Him mad, something wrong with him. What do you mean there's no true religion? My religion is a true religion. Does he not know? Is it not that obvious? Isn't it obvious? And so I have to ask this question, because if you are living your life, right, and you are seeing that you are contended with different perspectives about the very thing that you believe, I think, even though it's not the easiest thing to do, I think it's best practice to humble ourselves and to take a step back and just listen and see if we can learn something from the other person's perspective. See if there's a possibility that the information being shared has some value, and see if we can find a way to be critical, not just of what the person is saying, but of what we already believe. Because it's through that critical analysis that we get closer to what the truth is. And so, for example, as it relates to a supreme deity, a supreme ruler, the truth is that we don't know. We don't know whether that supreme deity exists or not. And in my opinion, it's an unknowable phenomenon. We cannot know that. And some might argue that that's a cop-out, because the evidence is in the universe. The evidence is all around us. The fact that we are alive and that we are breathing. No, I am not an atheist. I do lean into some of the arguments that atheists often use. But I don't consider myself an atheist. I'm more of an agnostic. I don't know that there is a God. I believe and want to accept the idea that there is a creator. And to me, those two things are not the same. Because a God, from all the different religions and books that I have encountered and listened to persons speaking about, those gods are rulers, dominating forces who want to subjugate their creation. Whereas a creator is that all-encompassing energy that is within all things and is permeates all things. It's like that force that makes things keep together without judgment, fear, or prejudice. So to me, the creator in my mind is within us and is expressing itself through us, through our thoughts, our words, our deeds, and our actions. And the more we learn about ourselves, the more we are learning about the creator, in the sense that we are aligning with divine order. And to some of you, this might sound like woo-woo nonsense, I know. But for me, it's a liberating idea, liberating perspective. And it is one that keeps me more in tune with reality than what I'm being told about the other religions. A God that loves war and requires sacrifice and promises hell or heaven to good behaving people on earth, not remembering that some people are born in different parts of the world who would have never heard or seen him. This is just from the Christian's perspective, of course, right? And again, I only can speak to that because that's the religion I came from, but all the other religions are pretty much similar. And what I want to make clear is that I'm not saying that people should not have their beliefs. That's not the argument. The argument is question your beliefs. That has always been my agenda, my aim, my reason for doing what I'm doing. If someone promises you $1 million, like they call you up and say, hey, I have $1 million for you. You have never met this person, but they know your name, they got your contact number, they probably even know your mother or your father, your sister or your brother. They know some relative that they can tell you information about yourself and about your family, but you have never met this person. However, you are told that this person has $1 million, let's say $1 million US to give you. All you need to do is send this person who you have never met a 10% service charge to their account for the payment of the $1 million. What would you do? Would you go ahead with that instruction, or would you question it? Would you question and challenge the idea, seeing that you have never met the person, or would you trust the person nonetheless because you want that $1 million? Now, that the answer you give to that question is a premise to which I am speaking. We have to question everything, even our very beliefs, our own beliefs. And I have learned, and I'm still learning, even though it's sometimes difficult. It puts me in a better position because I'm constantly learning and relearning and reshaping my thinking to help me to see the world from a broader perspective, and to also see things not only from a narrow view as how I want to see it, but to see things as they are. The truth is, we don't know if there's a God. People believe and people accept that as being true, but there's no proof. There's no undeniable evidence that there's a creator or a God. I want to believe that there's a creator. I said it earlier. I want to have that belief, which is separate and apart from having a belief in a God. But I am cognizant of the fact that I cannot prove it, and therefore I will not walk around telling people that there is a creator and they must worship this creator and follow the teachings of this creator, because I don't know that there is a creator. I believe that there is one, and it's just how my brain is wired. I in my logic, I cannot imagine this existing without being created. But the evolution is to tell you a different story or a different theory. But in all of that, I am open to the different perspectives. I am not closed-minded to the view that evolution has a part to play in our reality. But for most persons, when they hold a belief, and I was like that at one point, they hold it so dearly, they protect it so strongly, that it can cause a rift between families and spouses and friends. Relationships get dismantled, you know, things just start going downhill once you start to convey or disclose your view of how you see reality as it relates to the concept of a God or some savior. And so that's the point. That's what I wanted to share this morning. I will have thoughts that I will share from now on, and I will continue doing that as long as I have the inspiration or the feel like doing it. Yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, let knowledge be your path to true freedom. Peace.